Oh, so you want to be a director? Welcome back to the film industry with the Amber Living vlog. Like I said before, everyone that goes to film school always says the same thing. If they're asked, what do you want to do in film? They go, I want to direct. I did a lot of research when covering this topic, and I wanted to compare what I found to what I've actually seen on set. So let's just break down the term direct for a second here. What does that term actually mean? It means to carry out, to energize, and to have the supervision of. So of blank could be anything. What does a director do? To put it simply, they tell a story to an audience. That's breaking it down to the simplest form. What that entirely involves is a completely different matter. Directors are the artists on set. They are the decision makers. They are the storytellers. They are the judges. And essentially, most importantly, they are the leader of a production. So we're gonna break this down through stages. Let's start with pre-production. What does a director do during pre-production? The director is going to have a hand in the developing of a script. You got planning out shots, storyboarding, production schedules, shooting schedules, all that. So he'll have a hand in all that stuff. From what I've seen on set, it's a lot like everyone kind of has this brainstorming happening when developing certain things in the shooting, storyboarding, or just the script itself, and everyone will throw around ideas, and the director is usually the one that says yay or nay. I will add this, so based on if the director is working for an indie movie or they're working for a studio big budget flick, it really depends. Sometimes the director will not have a hand in the script building. So it really, the level of influence that our director has in certain stages does vary on who they're working for. Okay, so let's just move on to production, actually making the movie. What does a director do there? So during pre-production, I did mention about shot lists. So these lists are made, and this is an idea of what they want to shoot. So on set, during production, your DP is going to set the shot up, and then the director is really going to say whether or not it really works. So they're going to kind of approve the shots at that moment and see, they're going to see what lenses they actually want to use. It may switch it up, and they could change, depending on if it kind of has the right feel. And the director kind of is the one that kind of says, okay, this doesn't feel right, let's change it up. They block out scenes, they kind of go over what movements the actors are going to make. It can go from walking through a door, grabbing a glass, taking a drink while saying a line, or just certain movements that happen in the frame. So for a director, guiding the performance of an actor is probably the main thing going on, and really the main focus that we have to make sure that he is concentrated on and not distracted from. Another big thing that happens during production for the director is they're gonna make the call whether or not we can move on to the next shot or not. So if he likes it, we move on. If he doesn't like it or she doesn't like it, then we ain't moving on. We're gonna keep shooting it until he's happy or she's happy. I did find something interesting as far as the production process. It was mentioned that the director is a problem solver on set, and I tend to disagree with this because I've seen the hierarchy that goes with the director and the production department, meaning that there's a system, there's a filter system that kind of goes through. So the director needs to focus on, the actors' performances and, whether or not it's telling the right story. So he really needs to be not distracted in that element when he's kind of in the zone. So anytime there's any problem on set, he usually does not come to him, because before anything, it should go through PAs, and then key PAs, and then second ADs, and then the first ADs, second ADs, all that stuff. So your first AD should make sure all those problems get solved before he even needs to be bothered, or he or she needs to be bothered. So let's move on to post-production. What does the director do during that time? He or she's gonna have such a say as far as music cues, whether or not we should edit it this way, rough cuts, animation, all of these things tie into a big overall vibe of the movie. Everything that's done in post-production pretty much gets run by the director before anything's finalized, that's for sure. In a nutshell, the director will visualize the script and decide what best expresses the vision and story to the audience, and ultimately everything that is decided during production, post-production, pre-production is going to contribute to that. So what are the skills of a director? What do you need to have in order to be a successful director? The first thing I'm gonna say is that not everyone can be a director. It's not gonna happen. A lot of people say they want to be a director, and then they direct their first, short film or their first music video, and they're like, whoa, 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 this was not what I thought it was gonna be. So a lot of people will say they want to be a director, they get into the spot, and it's too much for them. It's really overwhelming. And then they figure out, then at that point, they're like, you know what, I want to do XYZ, or whatever department that may be. Here's what an ideal director should have. The first thing I feel like it's really important for a director to have is the ability to visualize a script. How do you see a script coming to life? Another really, really big thing is be decisive. You have to know what you want. You can't just go around saying, oh, well, it's okay, well, I don't know, and yeah, you can't really be on the fence about it, and you can't be really wishy-washy. You have to be like, you know what? I don't like that, or yeah, that's great. You have to really have the ability to communicate and articulate what's happening in your head, because a really big problem is you can visualize the script, you can totally see things happening, but if you cannot express those ideas, it's not really going to be helpful for the people that want to make it happen for you. You need to have leadership skills. You need to be able to bring a team of people together on the same page and lead them in the right direction. People are going to look up to you, and you have to know that. So, and if you don't have the answers and you don't have the guiding force, then it's going to be a mess on set, and it's going to be a mess throughout the whole project. Can you tell a story? That's a real big part of being a director as well. If you're a director, your main job is to tell the story. Yeah, the script is there, but it's not your manual. It's definitely not the manual for the director. Every single element that is decided, every single thing that you see, from the lipstick color of an actress, to the shirt, to the set dressing, to the car that's driven, all of these elements, every single thing that's in that frame that an audience sees, it's part of telling the story. A really, really good thing to have is commitment and passion. If you don't love it and you're not in it for the long haul, you're in for a rude awakening. Films take a lot of time, and they are really stressful on the body and the mind. So you really have to be in it to win it, and you really want to be like, I want to finish this, because it's a long, long road, let me tell you. So being part of film is really stressful, and I think in any position on film, all the way down to the PAs, all the way up to the producers, it's really stressful on everybody. So being a director, it helps if you can deal with stress, because if you can't deal with stress, things get cloudy when you're trying to make decisions. Just being able to keep your cool under all those stressful conditions and situations actually will help in the long run. I think this one goes under the radar a little bit. Self-belief and confidence is a real, real big thing. You should trust your decisions. You trust that you are a good director, and that you actually are making the right decisions, and you are a good storyteller, and those decisions that you're making actually tells the story well. No matter how big the position, we're all human, and we kind of go into this, oh, am I doing a good job? So having self-belief is a real, real big factor in all that. Determination is a tricky one, and I will say this because I've seen a lot of fights happen on set, and a director will be determined to stand by what he wants, and then you have like producers, or you have actors sometimes disagreeing with the director. Determination is very, very vital, because you can't be a pushover when you're dealing with your art. I feel like you shouldn't compromise on your vision, and that kind of, I know I talked about collaboration, but there's certain times that people are just going to want things their way, and they're not going to trust your vision. And I hate talking about this one because it happens everywhere, like everywhere else in the world of any type of career situation, are the politics, film politics. There's always something going on behind the scenes. There's always some schmoozing that has to happen. It kind of goes into having people skills and working the people. That's a good way of putting it. Just being a people person, being pleasant. Overall, it's going to be easier for you if you know how to, work the crowd, as they say. With all of this said, it's definitely not all puppies and candy canes. It's not easy to be a director. It's obvious that it's not all glamorous. So I hope you have a better understanding of what directors do, what they don't do, and I hope that it has helped you maybe decide on whether or not you want to do that, or you know, maybe you can work on some things to help you get there. So I have no idea. Also, in my first episode about film school, I actually addressed some of the directors that I liked and admire, and they kind of how they got their start. So that kind of ties into this, which is pretty cool. So you can get a little feel for how directors not all go to film school. There's no one path. I just want everyone to know that there's not one path, and there's not just one position in film. So this has been the film industry with the Amber Living vlog. Next month, I don't know what I'm going to cover, but there will be another episode soon. So thanks.